Bonjour, hello. My name is Damon Ponick. I'm a park ranger at Apostle Islands National Lakeshore. For generations, Native people have called this area home, living their lives connected to the environment. The process of making wild rice, Manoomin, reveals this connection in many ways, from knocking grains from ripe plants into the canoe, to drying it over a fire, dancing it in a pit, and finally using a noggin, or winnowing basket, to separate the grain from the hull. At Apostle Islands National Lakeshore's Changing Climate, Changing Culture Teacher Institute, participants learned how to make a noggin, along with learning about the real threat climate change has to wild rice, which will ultimately threaten a culture.
And they put the rice in there once it was dried. And they would do what was called dancing the rice. And they'd get a young man, not someone big like me or like Joe, so, maybe about a 12-year-old figure. So some 12-year-old today, maybe about an 8-year-old figure. And go in there and do what they call dancing the rice. And what he would do is step in that hole and then move his feet around and separate the hulls from the kernels. And then once that was done, they would take the noggin, the basket, put the rice in there that was separated, and it was still we're all together, and they toss in the air and winnow it. The wind would blow off or drop it like this, and the wind would blow the hulls away. And that was part of the processing. But Joe's gonna teach you guys how to make small versions of noggin. So if your students ask you what those are, what are they?
You're better than me. All right. What you got there is a birch bark, sinew, the needle, and all punch to make the holes. And I guess, talking with Jim earlier, talking about climate change and how it affects the wild rice and the things that we do as Anishinaabe people. There isn't too much left of this wood birch bark. So this is the result, climate change, pollution. It comes down from Canada on the mills and stuff, and there's very few old growth birch. Big birch like that, and I have a couple of buddies back home. They're in the process of making birch bark canoes. And it's really, really tough to find these big old growth birch. So what I going to show you guys is two ways you can do it. You can either bring it in. I'm going to go off and see how I'm doing that. Bring it in like that, and then
But birch is such an important part of who we are also, along with the rice and such. And one of the things that are concerned, as Joe was saying, with the climate change and such, it's getting harder and harder to find good birch. There are people that are looking a long time to even find birch to make canoes and such, and you need long pieces for that, long good pieces for that. One of the things that's happening because of the change in climate, birch grows in cold weather. So if it's getting warmer here, the birch are going further north, and they're leaving this area here. A lot of elders have noticed that the birch stands are getting poorer and poorer in this area, and people are concerned because they're connecting that with the changes in the weather and the warmer weather that's happening here. That's causing that. One of the reasons for causing that to happen, along with industrialization and pollution and everything else. But that's a concern that ties into that climate change and how it affects. Just the bark, and you're seeing some of the bark now, and some of you had some good pieces, some of you had some real rough pieces, but you're seeing what our people are trying to work with and how those things are affecting us. Thank you.
Using natural materials for this activity reinforces the connection to the environment, but other materials can be used as well. For example, you could use construction paper with a string and a hole punch.